Okay, cool. Now we have some content and some content types. Next up, keeping our content organized. Now, that's done throughout the internet in many, many methods, and one of the most popular ones is tagging. Now, inside Drupal, under structure, we have something called taxonomy. And what taxonomy is really just tagging all together. All the grouping of taggings and all that, it's right here under taxonomy. Now, Drupal comes default with a tagging system called a vocabulary, and they called it tags. Vocabularies inside Drupal are basically a grouping of tags, or as they call them, terms. Either way, I'll probably use in terms or tags. I go in and out of whatever term I'm feeling like it at the moment. But what we're going to do is we're not going to use this default one because we want to create one for ourselves. And we're going to create one that's meant just for our press releases. So we're going to add a vocabulary, and we're just going to call it press releases. Save that, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add some tags or terms to that. Since we're doing something about press releases, we may want to tag a press release if that press release happens to be about new products. All right, and then we have some other options down here. We're just going to kind of let these be. I'll show those later. All right, what's great now is it kind of assumes that you want to continue to make more and more terms or tags. So it kind of sends you right back to the same screen. Already lets you know that you created one. Let's create another one. Let's say we want this to know that this press release was about, let's see, our competitors. All right, perfect. Now that we have some terms, if we list them, we can see them here. We can organize at what order they're shown to a person that's creating a new press release. We can add more if we need to. We can see that this is in the press releases vocabulary. Now what we need to do is we need to associate this vocabulary with our content type of press release. So again, how do we do that? We're going to do that with what we learned before with fields. What basically I'm saying here is that vocabulary just becomes another field we're adding to our content type. So if we go under structure, content types, press releases, and manage fields, now we're going to just add a new field that is related to our vocabulary. So let's go ahead and just call this field tags. Now under the field options, the field type, we're going to select term reference. Remember, they call them terms. Could be tag reference in your mind, but term reference. And then we're going to be able to choose how we want to choose the terms. Now it could either be done in a drop-down, checkboxes, or an autocomplete widget, which is basically if you start typing in an input field, it will start showing you what's related to what you're typing. For a press release, we're not going to really have a lot of tags, so let's just do checkboxes, radio buttons for now. Okay, now that we're here, we get to choose the vocabulary that we want to associate. We created one called press releases. There's the one called tags, and we want to be able to associate with the press releases. So we're going to save and attach the tags to this press release content type. Here's some different options. Your label for it, so when it shows it, we showed you how the label works. You can force tagging for this particular content type to be required. Obviously, provide some help text. You can have a default tag. Here you can choose whether or not you want to allow more than one tag or how many tags. We'll just say unlimited for now. Again, there's your vocabulary. Save these settings. All right, we have now associated that vocabulary as a field to our content type of press release. Just like everything else we kind of went over inside the content type here, tags you can also manage their display, whether or not its label is hidden or above. Right here, notice that you can kind of change that the tag is going to be plain text or link. I'm going to leave it as link because now I'm going to be able to show you when we create terms what that URL alias does. So let's go ahead and see how this works. Now that our press release content type has tags field to it, let's go ahead and edit one of our press releases to add some tags. So let's go to find some content. There's our press releases. Let's go ahead and edit one. If we scroll all the way down, now you see tags, and there's checkboxes for the tags terms that we put in there. They're checkboxes because we allowed unlimited. So let's say this thing was, what's this about? We have new widgets. Okay, well, it's a press release. Seems like it would be about new products. So we're now going to associate that. Let's go ahead and save it. Let's go ahead and view our press release so you can kind of see now that it's attached to it. Scroll all the way down. All right, tags, new products. You'll see that new products is a link. Okay. Now, if you notice in the URL on the bottom left of my screen, it's basically showing you a URL to go to. Let's just go ahead and click on it so you can kind of see what this is doing. Up in the URL, it went to Taxonomy, term 7. Well, 7 is basically the term ID that was associated with the term new products. And obviously we're in taxonomy and we're in terms. And what this is doing with, if we had tagged multiple things as new products, it would be giving you kind of like a teaser list of all of those. This taxonomy/term/7 isn't really the prettiest URL to look at. That's where that URL alias comes into play. That was under structure, taxonomy, and then the term in our press release vocabulary. So we're going to list the terms. We're going to edit the new products terms. There's that URL alias. So maybe we want it to be press releases tags new dash products. Let's go ahead and save that. All right, let's go back and look at our content. Now if we go down and look at that term again, now notice we got a much better looking URL. Press releases, tags, new products. So that's kind of a quick, simple overview of taxonomy. One more thing I want to show you, because some people may be thinking this, well, what if I want to associate more than one vocabulary? Because our press releases may have something to do with other things besides just products, or something maybe even deeper than press releases, maybe financial information. Sure, there could be a tag for financial information, but maybe there's a bunch of subtags and finances maybe associated with other content types down the line. Or we may want to actually add that generic tags library that Drupal gave to us. Well, we can do that by just adding another field to it. So if we go to structure, content types, manage fields, we could just do this again and just add another term reference field and make it a completely different library. And by doing that, then at some point you may want to change your label, and this one could be press release tags, and this one could be financial tags. We're not going to get into it. I just wanted to cover it because you can kind of see it all there, and I don't want to leave you hanging. But that's pretty much how that works. So now you know how to organize your content into great tagging systems, which is definitely going to help you down the line, because you're going to be able to do some advanced stuff with grouping, showing things in sidebars, tag clouds, and all that type of stuff. So let's do a quick recap. Nothing too fancy. We're going to go to structure and taxonomy. That's the biggest thing. Is that, I mean, it took me a little bit while because I always think of the word tag. Drupal calls it taxonomy. Makes sense when you get deeper into things and start to understand it. Taxonomy is really, all these different types of tags and all these vocabularies. And it's in this where you get to manage everything. And then when you get all your management done in here, it's in your content type as a field where you associate your tags to your content types. So that's tagging in a nutshell.